All right. Hey everybody, it's Cece from Cece Restyled. And today, well, good morning, and say hello to my little helper over there. This morning, I'm going to show you how to do a faux wood grain top using a wood graining tool. And so this is my surface that it was a faux marble or faux granite type top, and so I used 2 coats of slick stick and I let it dry overnight in order to get the paint to adhere to the faux finish, or the faux marble, or faux granite, I'm sorry. Slick stick is an adhesion primer from Dixie Belle, and it will help you, it will help your paint to adhere to non-porous surfaces. So anything other than wood, sorry, I'm gonna secure my piece here because I don't want any mishaps. The other day it almost fell over and killed me. So slick stick is an adhesion primer. You can use it on mirror, glass, plastic, faux stone, faux anything. What else? MDF, press board, kind of the same thing. Okay, I think we're secure now. Secure-ish. Okay. Anyways, so 2 coats of slick stick, and then you let it dry overnight. That's a really important part, is letting it dry overnight, and to get the most out of your adhesion primer. Why is this so wobbly right now? Anyways, so after the slick stick dried overnight, I gave it 2 coats of French linen chalk mineral paint, which is a Dixie Belle color, and then 1 coat of gator hide. You can use any sealer, like semi-gloss or satin or gloss sealer, something that won't soak up the paint that we're about to put on to create our wood grain. So 2 coats of paint, sealer that's non-flat and not flat sealer, and now we're going to take a darker color and create our wood grain. And then we're going to seal it with our sealer, which I'm using gator hide, with just a tad bit of another color, like a warm wood color in it, or whatever colors you're going for your wood. So you use darker colors if you're going for a darker color wood, but I wanted kind of more of a light driftwood kind of finish, so so I'm using lighter colors, but of course a darker color for the wood grain. So I'm going to mix just a tiny bit of burlap into my gator hide, and that's what I'm going to use to seal this. It's just going to kind of after I wood grain with the coffee bean, it's going to be very contrasting against the French linen. So by mixing the burlap with my sealer and doing a couple coats of that, it will kind of blend a little bit, or soften up the coffee bean wood grain a little bit, so it looks a little more natural. I'm going to be using a wood graining tool. I've got this little rubber guy here. Dixie Belle also carries this one here. It's a hard plastic, and I'm kind of having trouble getting the hang of this one, so I like to use my rubber one because I have got that one down. So 2 coats of French linen, to recap, 1 coat of sealer, which I use gator hide, and now I'm going to use my coffee bean and create my wood grain. So I've got a little foam brush here, and I'm going to use my wood graining tool. I've also got a shop towel or old t-shirt to wipe off my excess paint from my wood graining tool. Let me see if I can get you a little bit closer so you can see. Hey everyone! It's a surprise live. I wasn't planning on coming on, but then I had to faux wood grain this top, and I thought, well, hey, maybe some folks would like to see this process. The rubber wood graining tool I got from Michael's or your craft store. I think Joann's has them as well. I believe you can also get them on Amazon. So, okay, hopefully that's good enough for you to see. You don't need to see my face, you just need to see the surface. So, there we go. How's that? Okay, so I've got my coffee bean, or whichever darker color you choose. And you could go the opposite way. You can do your darker color first and then wood grain with a lighter color. That's an option, but I think I prefer the control over the light color base coat with the dark color wood grain. I feel like I can control the end result a little bit better. So I've shaken up my coffee bean, and I've got you can use a brush, but I feel like a brush lays it on awfully thick, so I like to use a foam brush from the craft store.
And
Huh?
I need a brush.
You don't need a brush, buddy. You can share with me. I've got an assistant today. He wants to help. I don't know if he's tall enough, but he wants to help. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, load up my foam brush, and I'm just going to brush on one row, I guess you would call it, of my coffee bean. Usually I try to brush on about one width of my my graining tool, so I can just go over it, without having to go over it twice. And you want to work kind of quickly so your paint doesn't just dry up on you. Can you move that, honey bun, please? I don't want to scratch the top and it's just in my way.
I want to paint it.
You can paint it, but let me finish this real quick. Okay, so now I'm going to take my wood graining tool, and please move that, please, thank you. If I miss any questions, I'll come back and answer them in a little bit, but I got to work kind of fast. So I'm going to take my wood graining tool, and I'm going to scrape it across the paint that I just painted on there, the coffee bean, and you want to rock it back and forth. You can go slow, you can go fast, you can do a little bit of both, and that creates a variation in the wood grain. Can you see that? I'll do a couple more swipes so that you can see it a little bit better. And then the edges, see how my piece has these rounded, like a beveled edge. So that's going to be a little bit trickier with the tool because it's flat or straight across. So, but I can do it. It's just going to be a little trickier. And I'll show you that here as soon as we're done with the top. So I'm just going down my row here with my coffee bean, and you don't have to have it on there perfect. You just want to get, some decent coverage. There we go. And with my tool, I'm going to just drag it across and rock it every once in a while. Rock it slow, rock it quickly, just to get variations in my wood grain. And it's starting to dry up on me a little bit. So I'm going to grab my mister bottle. I'm going to spray that area. Can you see that area that it kind of didn't wood grain because it was drying up on me? I'm just going to spray it with water and then go back over it. See? Woo! No harm, no foul. And if you miss any spots, you can always go back over them with the edge of your tool. Okay, so I'm going to scoot you out just a little bit and see if you can't see the whole thing. So no worries about how dark it is right now. It is very dark, but that is why when I go and I seal it, I'm going to add some burlap color to my sealer to soften up the contrast. So I'm going to keep going here, and I'm going to work kind of fast so I don't have to miss it. And make sure after your 2 coats of paint, your 2 base coats, you want to make sure that you seal it. Like I said, if you're just hopping on, I've painted 2 coats of French linen, and then I sealed it in gator hide. You could use clear coat satin or clear coat gloss if you prefer. And then I'm just going to keep going down my rows. What are you doing, bud?
Getting a transfer.
You're getting a transfer? For what? What you going to transfer?
The thing that was.
Oh, you're going to paint and transfer, huh? That's my boy. So, there you go. Rocking slow, rocking quick. On the other end of this graining tool is just kind of like some, teeth almost. If I want to go in and kind of custom do some wood grains or variations, I can do that. But most of the time I find that if I miss a spot, I could just go over with the tip of my graining tool. And then to clean the tool, I just run it under water to make sure I get all that paint off of it. Because you don't want the paint drying up in the little grooves, and you're kind of... Hi, buddy, can you want to help me out here real quick?
Yeah.
Can you hold my paint without dropping it and spilling it? Because I'm running out of room on my tabletop. Well, you got to move the transfer. Move the transfer. Right, that's fine. It's fine on the floor. Here, hold my paint. Assistant, hold my paint. Okay, so I'm going all the way back. Now hold the brush. Don't move. Okay, and rocking my tool back and forth, back and forth. Okay, I think I got one last pass here. And then we'll do the edge. I'll show you the edge. And you can use a brush. Again, I like to use the foam jobby because I feel like it doesn't lay down as much paint, so I'm not using the tool to get up quite as much paint. But a brush is fine. Well, that. All right. And we got one pass here. And I'm going to mist it with water just because my last little pass there is drying up. And then I got my last pass. Let's make it a good one. Boom. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to show you that up close real quick, and then we'll do the sides. Okay, their edges, I mean. So, see how it looks like wood planks? Of course, Marshall. How many tools do you need if you're not going to use them? What a waste. No, well, I hope this inspires you to use it. So there's my faux wood grain. And like I said, it's quite contrasty right now. But as soon as I do my sealer with my burlap color mixed in, it'll soften that up quite a bit and look a little bit more natural as well. Let's see. Yes, he is a good helper, Kathy, and he's super handsome. I overlap, Kayla, I overlap just a little bit. Just a 1/4 of an inch or so, I overlap just a bit. I should have mentioned that. Thank you for asking. Oh, Kim, dirty jokes all around. That's okay. My mind is pretty much kind of always in the gutter. All right, let's do an edge now. I'll show you how to do the edge. It's a little bit trickier, but it is doable. So we're going to go ahead and start. We'll start on this little corner here. Oh gosh, what's behind me? My little guy? Or is my table? Last time someone said check behind you, it meant my table was about to fall over. All right, where's my paint? Oh, bud, come on. Grab me my tool and my t-shirt down there, please. Thank you very much. The tool. Can you give me the little rubber jobby there? Okay, so on the edge, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just going to give it some passes or give it some swipes of the paint. And I'm not going to work in a terribly large section at a time because as you saw, Dixie Belle chalk mineral paint dries up pretty quickly. So we're just going to go in a little small section at a time. And I'm just going to kind of roll. And then I got to go further on the edge. So I'm basically going around the curve of it. So I've got to go over it a couple times to get the whole curve of the beveled edge, but it works. So if you work in small sections, and again, yes, it's very, very vivid, very bold, and it will not be as soon as I get that sealer on. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be dry enough in time for us to mix the seal. Well, it might be. Let's finish going around the edge and see if we can get the sealer on with the burlap in it so I can show you how it softens it up. Hey, buddy, can you do me a favor? I need you to go get me a spoon and a bowl.
Can I use my shirt?
No, this is not your shirt, buddy. This is my shop towel shirt, old shirt. What? Uh-oh, you got paint on your shirt? Well, welcome to the club, bud. It happens. It's all right. We'll make you a new one. We'll make you a new shirt. All right, so we're going to go all the way around the edge, and then maybe while it's drying pretty quickly, so while we mix up our sealer with the paint, it might be dry enough for us to use it. Hey, Kurt. Will you go get me a bowl and a spoon? Right there. Wait, never mind. Yeah, sure. Sure, buddy. Okay, so we're just going to continue going around the edge. Sorry. We gotta love school out. Lots of help. Lots of help around the house, huh? All right. So this corner here is a little funky. I had chipped it or taken a big chunk out of it, I should say, in transportation. So I had to rebuild it with Dixie mud, and it's not perfect, but better than it was. So that's why this corner is a bit funky, but it's all right. Every little thing is gonna be all right. Can you see this? Here. Okay.
Where should my desk
I need you to do me a flavor, buddy.
Yeah.
Can you do me a flavor?
Uh-huh.
Over there on that yellow shelf right there,
Yeah.
the second shelf up from the bottom is some mason jars, the little clear jars. Would you grab me a jar, please? All right, so we're just gonna do around the edge. See, I'm just going from the top of the edge around the curve. I'm following the curve with each pass.
This?
If you can see around my big head. And I'm rocking it back and forth just like I did over the top. No, a clear glass jar, buddy. But close, right underneath where you got that from is the clear glass jars. All right, we've just got a little bit left. Nope, that's not a clear glass jar, but right behind where you picked that up from, it's clear glass jars
Oh.
in a package. That's what I need. All right, so swipe on my paint. Yes, sirree, but I need one that's empty. One that's empty, please. Thank you. Third time's the charm, right? Or fourth time's the charm in this case. All right, so I got my paint on, and I'm just using my graining tool and rocking it back and forth. And I'm following that little curvy curve. Creating, honey, yes, there is some empty ones right next to where you grabbed that one from, right there. All right, so we've just got one little corner left, or one little side left. And then we can mix up our seal. Oh gosh, well, thanks. And an empty clear one. Right where you got that is a whole package of empty clear ones. Thank you. Clean, empty, clear. Nothing in it, nothing dried up in it, nothing wet in it. No. Oh my gosh. Okay, you know what? Forget about it. Don't worry about it. Just play. All right. Last little area here. Ooh, got kind of a lot of paint on there, but that's okay. No biggie. I'm just going to go around it. Swoop right here where I kind of got up on the top there. So you're just following the curve, rocking it back and forth. You can rock slow and then do a quicker rock, or you can go backwards even if you want to. You don't have to go in one direction. I just kind of do out of habit. Okay, and here's our last little pass. Yes, that but empty. That but clear with nothing in it, completely empty. Right where you got that is a whole package of them. Whole package. Whole cardboard box full of them. All right. I bet you if it was chocolate, he would have found it in 2 seconds. All right. There we go. And we're getting close. Boom. And that's our wood grain. So that... Gail, are you making fun of my patience level? Are you making fun of my patience? It's been a long week with the quarantine. So that's the wood grain. And now for the sealer. I am going to go ahead. Oh my gosh, okay. I'm gonna grab my glass empty mason jar. In the cardboard box, like I said. All right, so I just got a vessel to mix my sealer with my burlap color. Empty jar. So I'm letting that last little bit dry, and we're going to go ahead and mix our sealer while we let that dry. So, like I said, I'm using gator hide. And burlap. You can use clear coat satin, clear coat gloss, clear coat flat at this point to seal it with, because we're not using anything on top of it that we need to drag through it. And oh my gosh. Okay, so we're going to start by adding our gator hide or clear coat satin, whatever you're going to seal your whole piece in, as long as it's water-based, to, oh gosh, trying to take off my sweatshirt. It's 1,000 degrees in the basement. So I'm going to add my gator hide to my vessel for mixing. Okay, so I just need about as much as I think it's going to take to seal the top of this piece, and that's it. So I'm just going to pour oh, I don't know. Yay much. That's probably plenty, but I don't want to have to remix it up twice.
Mommy,
Yes, bud.
can I put my desk upstairs?
We'll have to talk about that because that is not actually going to be your desk. If you want to get a desk, I can find you one and make you one, but that one is for something else, okay? If you want a desk, I'll make you one for your birthday. How's that? You can even help me design it. Okay, so I'm going to be using burlap because, like I said, I'm going for a lighter beech driftwood or bleached wood kind of look. So the lighter colors and then, of course, the dark wood grain. So I'm going to use burlap to kind of lighten up my wood grain. And so our ratio of sealer to paint is very, very small amount of paint to sealer. So I've got about, I don't know, 2 ounces of sealer, and I'm just going to use about a small teaspoon of paint. So like not a heaping teaspoon, just about a small teaspoon of my paint color here. See that? And then I'm just going to mix it in to my gator hide. And if you find that if you start brushing it on and you find that it's too transparent and it's not giving enough color, just mix in some more paint and go over it. So this is my gator hide with the paint in it. It looks a little like melted peanut butter, doesn't it? But don't eat it. Don't eat it. It won't taste like melted peanut butter. All right, so gator hide with burlap. All right, so now I'm just going to use a regular old brush. Let's go ahead and use let's see. Most of my brushes are in the wash right now, so I'm going to use a mini angle. And I'm going to get it damp a little bit. So I believe that our wood grain is dry. It is dry, and if it's not 100% dry, if there's just a tiny bit that's wet, that's okay, because it will actually, when you go over the brush strokes with the sealer, and if you hit a tiny little drop that's wet still, it'll kind of drag that paint through, and it will help look even more natural with the striation. So it's dry, but I'm not worried about it being, I'm not worried about any wet spots is what I'm trying to say. So I got my damp brush. You want to use a damp brush when you're working with gator hide, and you want to work fairly quickly so you don't get the streaks, but the paint will help not getting the streaks. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go around my edge one time. When you're using gator hide, you don't want to go over the same spot too many times. You want to work quickly. So for that reason, when I paint the surface or the top, I just want to paint the top. So I'm going to go over my edge, kind of like when I'm coloring. When you're coloring, did you ever like trace the outline and then you fill it in? That's how I do my gator hide. See how the burlap mixture is lightening up my wood grain? You'll be able to see it more here in a second. And this is just one coat. So
Mommy,
2 coats will lighten it up even more. Yes, buddy?
can I spray paint?
Can you spray? No, you cannot spray paint.
Why?
When it gets warm outside and we have warm weather, you can spray paint outside. It's not warm outside. You're out of your mind. Okay, so can you see? I'm sorry. Can you see how it's lightening up that wood? So, I could. I keep hitting my head on that chandelier. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna start in the middle and paint long strokes, long thin strokes with our gator hide.
Please.
Please, buddy, give me a minute. I'm almost done. And then we're going to work that out to the edges. So when you're using gator hide, like I said, you got to work quickly. So if you miss a spot, it's all right. Come back on your second coat, okay? You don't want to get streaks by trying to overwork it and touching up spots that you miss. So this is how fast you have to work with the gator hide. And you want to work in long strokes, damp brush. Gator hide is very fickle to the weather, so you don't want extreme hot or cold. You want it just right. And I'm in a nice damp basement, and it is just right. I love how with the Dixie Belle chalk mineral paint, it's fairly thick just by the nature of the paint. It's thick. So I actually, if you look at this really close, where the wood grains are, you can actually see like a texture because the paint is thick enough to get a texture. but ever so slightly, not enough to really throw off your look or anything like that, but just enough to make it look very realistic. Okay, so we're almost at our last pass of the gator hide. Okay, so that is our first coat of gator hide, and I'm definitely going to do 2 coats, just because I like the protection. And now you can see how that has lightened up my wood grain quite a bit. See that? And my next coat will lighten it up even more, so it'll be super, well, pretty natural looking. Pretty natural looking wood. So if I wanted to add another layer of dimension, I could, even on my second coat of gator hide, I could add a different color. If I wanted to adjust it darker, lighter, more brown, more cherry, I could add a different paint color on my second layer. But I'm really, really digging this combination. So if you're just logging on or you missed it earlier, this was a faux granite top. I added, I did 2 coats of Slick Stick, the adhesion primer from Dixie Belle. I let it set overnight to dry, and then I painted 2 coats of French linen, 2 coats of French linen chalk mineral paint. Let that dry. I sealed it with gator hide, and then we ran our wood graining tool through our coffee bean. So we did coffee bean, wood graining tool, and now we're adding gator hide with some burlap mixed in. So that's 1 coat. I'm going to do a second coat, and we'll see how, let's see, gator hide dries super duper fast, so it's already drying. So the outside edge that we did earlier is already dry, so I'm going to go around that one more time so you can see how that lightens up just even that much more. Yeah, this is a super duper fun technique. I really enjoy doing faux wood graining. It is fun, and it's actually not terribly time consuming, as you can see. I mean, what are we, I don't know how far in we are, but not very far. So, okay, here we go. I'm going to go around the edge one more time. Just like I'm coloring in a coloring book, I'm going to outline my edge. Quickly, we got to work quickly because it is gator hide after all. Quickly and thin coats, right? That's the secret to gator hide. Quickly, thin coats, damp brush. No extreme temperatures. There you go. Boom, done. Secret revealed. Okay, so at this point our top is dry except for kind of right here. Our last couple passes are not dry all the way, so watch out. But I'm going to throw this fan on it real quick. Woo.
Mommy?
Yes, honey?
Can I, like, with the house,
The dollhouse?
can I open the stuff and put it up?
Sure, you can open it, but anything that has to be put together and has parts, do not open, okay? If it's already put together, you can open it. I like to talk in the fan like this. Who doesn't like to talk in a fan? I'm 38 years old and I still like to talk in the fan. Right? Right? So fun. Okay, so now we're gonna go over our second. Oh yes, Gail. I need all the luck I could get with these fools at home. Okay, so we're gonna go over our second coat with the gator hide and start in the middle and work the product out towards the edges. Load up my brush, second pass, start in the middle, work my product out to the edges, long strokes. Don't overwork it. I can't go over it anymore at this point because it starts to dry and I don't want streaks. Should you end up with streaks because you didn't work quick enough or the weather was too hot or whatever reason, take a super fine grit sandpaper, 1000, 2000 grit sandpaper, and sand those streaks right out. Yes, very quickly with the gator hide. If you have perfection issues or OCD, you're going to have to really control that because if you miss a spot, you can't go over it. It will leave marks in your gator hide. You just got to go get it on the next coat. Okay, so this is it. Our top is drying and it is done. So I'll show you how the second coat looks now. Boom! See that? You thought I was crazy when I did the coffee bean wood grain, didn't you? You were like, that looks stupid. It looks like a zebra. But now you see where I'm going with this. That burlap wash and the sealer makes all the difference, right? So there you go. That is how you do a faux wood grain. And like I said earlier, you can use dark colors. You can use pink and purple to make your wood grain. You can use whatever colors your heart desires. I was going for a driftwood kind of beachy look. So that is it for today, folks. So I hope you have an enjoyable Tuesday. Thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit, and I'll see you later. Bye.